Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you let every opinion, every insult, every piece of negativity control your peace, you hand over your power. But the day you train yourself to be unbothered, to stand calm in chaos, to smile while the world tries to shake you, that's the day you become unstoppable. Because real strength isn't in shouting louder. It's in staying silent when you could explode, focused when you could fold, and peaceful when everything around you is burning. That's what separates the reactive from the remarkable. And ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in life where you realize that peace is more powerful than proving yourself. That silence can roar louder than arguments, and that mastering your emotions is the ultimate form of strength. You see, the real power in this world doesn't belong to those who react to everything. It belongs to those who can feel the fire and still stay centered, those who can walk through chaos and remain calm within themselves. When you train yourself to be unbothered, you don't become indifferent, you become unstoppable. And every day, life will test you. People will misunderstand you, criticize you, betray you, talk behind your back, or try to bring you down just to make themselves feel taller. But remember this, you cannot control what people say or do. You can only control how you respond. The moment you stop letting others dictate your emotions, you begin to reclaim your energy, your focus, and your inner freedom. The world doesn't slow down for your frustration, and it doesn't reward your anger. What it does reward is the person who can hold their composure in the middle of the storm, who can breathe when everyone else is shouting, and who can stay grounded when everything feels uncertain. And being unbothered doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've reached a level of maturity where you no longer waste your peace on temporary people or temporary problems. It means you've stopped fighting for validation from those who can't even see your worth. It means you understand that not every battle deserves your attention, not every comment needs a response, and not every noise deserves your energy. Because when you give your energy to negativity, you feed it. But when you remain calm, centered, and grounded, you starve it. And think about the strongest people you know. They're not the ones who explode at every insult or chase every rumor. They're the ones who smile when they could shout, who walk away when they could fight, and who focus on their goals when distractions come knocking. They've learned that emotions, when untrained, are weapons that turn against us. But when mastered, emotions become the fuel that drives us forward. And you have to train yourself daily to rise above the noise. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a discipline. Just like training your body, you have to train your mind and your emotions to respond differently. When someone disrespects you, pause. When something doesn't go your way, breathe. When life throws chaos your way, don't match the chaos, lead it with calmness. Because the one who remains calm controls the situation. The one who reacts gives away their power. And your energy is sacred, guard it, protect it like a treasure. Stop letting people who do so little for your growth have so much influence over your emotions. You don't owe anyone a reaction. You don't have to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You don't have to fight to prove who you are to those who refuse to see it. The more you react, the more control you give away. The more you stay centered, the more power you reclaim, and there's a voice inside you that knows when to walk away, when to let go, when to stop explaining, and when to rise above. Listen to that voice. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Being unbothered isn't arrogance, it's awareness. It's realizing that peace is more valuable than pride, and that your focus is too precious to be wasted on drama. And every day, train your mind to detach from unnecessary battles. When you catch yourself reacting emotionally, step back and ask, does this deserve my peace? Because not everything does. Most things don't. You'll find that 90% of the things that once upset you are simply not worth it. Someone cuts you off in traffic, let it go. Someone talks about you behind your back, let them. Someone doubts your abilities, prove them wrong by succeeding, not by arguing. And the people who win in life are those who remain emotionally stable in an unstable world. They move with clarity when everyone else moves with confusion. They make decisions from a place of calm strength, not from anger or fear. They know that real confidence isn't loud, it's quiet. It doesn't scream for attention, it walks with certainty. And you can't build your future if you're constantly distracted by the opinions of others. You can't grow if you're always reacting. Every reaction costs you time, energy, and focus. When you choose to be unbothered, you're not ignoring reality, you're mastering it. You're saying, I refuse to let external chaos dictate my internal peace. That is the mindset of champions, leaders, and those who create real impact. And there will be days when people will try to test your patience, when life will throw curveballs just to see if you'll break. Don't take the bait, smile, keep moving, keep growing, because your peace is not up for negotiation. The moment you make your peace conditional on other people's behavior, you hand them control of your life. Take that control back. Anchor yourself so deeply in who you are that no one's words can shake you. And when you master being unbothered, something incredible happens. You stop chasing, you start attracting. You stop needing validation, and you start radiating confidence. You stop getting drained by negativity, and you start glowing with calm power. People notice it, they feel it, because true power doesn't need to shout. It's felt in presence, in poise, in the way you handle yourself when life tests you. And you have to train that muscle daily. When emotions rise, when anger comes, when frustration knocks. Pause. Breathe. Choose to respond differently. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you rewire your mind for peace. Every time you choose focus over drama, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you choose growth over gossip, you level up your life. And you owe it to yourself to protect your peace, because peace is where creativity lives. Peace is where clarity is born. Peace is where your next breakthrough comes from. If your mind is always cluttered with reactions, you'll never hear your intuition guiding you. But when you're calm, when you're grounded, you begin to see opportunities clearly, make decisions powerfully, and move intentionally. And people who can't control you will always try to irritate you. They'll try to get a reaction out of you because your peace threatens their insecurity. Don't fall into that trap. Remember, not responding is a response. Silence is power. Indifference is armor. And focus is your weapon. And you are not here to please everyone. You're not here to prove your worth to small minds. You're here to evolve, to grow, to rise. Every time you stay unbothered in the face of negativity, you build resilience. You become untouchable, not because nothing affects you, but because you've trained yourself to feel everything and still choose peace. And so from this moment forward, promise yourself this: I will not be moved by every opinion. I will not be shaken by every challenge. I will not lose myself in other people's storms. I will train my mind daily to rise above, to stay calm, to remain unbothered. Because peace is not found, it's built, and it's built by choosing every single day not to let the world steal your center. And when you begin to operate from that state of calm, something profound happens. You stop merely surviving life and you start mastering it. You begin to understand that peace is not a passive state, it's an active decision. It's strength disguised as stillness. It's saying, I refuse to participate in my own suffering. And that kind of discipline, that level of control, doesn't come from comfort. It's forged in moments of challenge. It's built in the times you could have reacted but didn't. It's built in the moments when life pushed you and you stood tall anyway. And when you train yourself to be unbothered, you start to realize how much energy you used to waste. You see how often you allowed small things to steal entire days from your life. A single comment used to ruin your mood. A setback used to make you doubt your worth, and one misunderstanding could make you question everything. But now, You're learning that you are not at the mercy of what happens to you. You are the master of how you interpret it. You can choose perspective over panic, growth over gossip, stillness over struggle. That's what emotional training looks like. Choosing peace even when chaos is easier. And you have to remember, being unbothered is not about building walls around yourself. It's about building standards within yourself. It's about saying, this is what I allow, this is what I respond to, this is where my energy goes. You're setting boundaries that protect your focus and your future. Because if you don't protect your energy, the world will drain it. If you don't decide what matters, distractions will decide for you. And the truth is, most people never learn to master their emotions, they're mastered by them. They spend their days reacting to every text, every opinion, every piece of bad news, like puppets pulled by invisible strings. But you are not meant to live that way. You are meant to move with purpose, with clarity, with emotional control. You are meant to feel everything deeply and still choose how to respond powerfully. And there will be moments when you feel disrespected, misunderstood, or overlooked. But in those moments, remember, your reaction defines your power. If you can walk away without bitterness, you've already won. Because peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of strength within them. Life isn't about avoiding chaos. It's about learning to remain unshaken while standing in the middle of it. And the world will constantly test your peace. It will tempt you with drama, provoke you with negativity, and try to lure you back into emotional instability. But this is where you must rise above and remind yourself, I am in control. You decide what has power over you. You decide which thoughts get to stay. You decide who gets to sit at the table of your energy, and you can't expect peace if you keep inviting chaos into your life. You can't claim calmness if you keep giving access to people who thrive on conflict. Training yourself to be unbothered means being intentional about your environment, your conversations, your circle, your focus. Some people will not understand this version of you. They'll call you distant, cold, or detached, but you're not cold, you're just focused. You're not detached, you're evolved. You're simply refusing to pour your time into what doesn't water your growth. And every great achiever has learned this truth. Emotional control is the foundation of all success. Because how can you lead others if you can't lead yourself? How can you stay consistent if your mood dictates your actions? You have to become the thermostat, not the thermometer. A thermometer reacts to the temperature, a thermostat sets it. Stop reacting to every situation and start setting the tone. And when you wake up each morning, remind yourself that peace is your priority. Before you check your phone, before you step into the noise of the world, center yourself. Take a moment to breathe, to ground yourself, to affirm your strength. Because if you don't command your emotions in the morning, the world will command them for you. You'll find yourself pulled into the chaos of others instead of living from the calm of your own clarity. And being unbothered doesn't mean you suppress emotions. It means you channel them. It means you feel the hurt, the frustration, the disappointment. But you don't let them control your direction. You let them teach you instead. You learn that rejection is redirection. You learn that criticism reveals insecurity, not truth. You learn that losing people doesn't mean losing peace. You begin to realize that peace is not out there, it's in here. It's not given to you. It's cultivated by you, and the deeper you train yourself to stay calm, the more your life begins to align. You start noticing how your clarity improves, how your productivity grows, how your relationships become lighter and more genuine. Because when you're not constantly reacting, you have space to think, to listen, to grow. You stop living from emotional exhaustion and start living from grounded power. You start making decisions that serve your long-term peace, not your short-term ego, and it's easy to stay calm when everything's going your way. But your growth is measured in how you respond when it's not, when plans fall apart, when people disappoint you, when life throws something at you that you didn't see coming. That's when your training kicks in. That's when you remind yourself, this situation doesn't define me, my reaction does. That's the moment you rise, not because it's easy, but because you've decided that peace is no longer negotiable. And every time you choose calm, you expand your strength. Every time you let go of something that doesn't deserve your energy, you create room for something better. Every time you walk away from drama, you walk closer to purpose. That's how transformation happens. Not in loud, dramatic moments, but in small, silent decisions that no one sees. And you start realizing that you don't need to win every argument to feel worthy. You don't need to prove your value through words. You prove it through your peace, because peace is confidence on a higher frequency. It's quiet assurance that doesn't need external approval. When you carry that kind of calm, you begin to attract better energy, better people, and better opportunities. And sometimes the greatest revenge is not reaction, it's resilience. It's walking away with your peace intact while others waste their time trying to provoke you. It's smiling when they expect you to break. It's succeeding when they hoped you would stop. The calm mind always wins because it sees clearly while others drown in their emotions. And so train every day. Every time life tries to provoke you, see it as practice. Every delay, every insult, every misunderstanding. It's all part of your emotional conditioning. You're building spiritual muscle. You're becoming someone who can't be easily moved, because strength isn't about force, it's about stability. It's about holding your ground in grace no matter what comes. And when you stop letting things get to you, you gain something priceless: freedom. Freedom from people's opinions, from overthinking, from the need to constantly defend yourself. Freedom to live with lightness, to focus on what matters, to give your energy only where it multiplies. That's what being unbothered truly means. Not escaping life, but rising above the noise of it. And there's a quiet confidence that comes from emotional mastery. You walk differently, you speak differently. You no longer react to gossip, you no longer chase validation, you no longer explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You move with purpose, with clarity, with peace. And when others see that energy, it commands respect. Because people can sense when you've found your center, and that kind of power can't be faked. And every time you choose not to react, you strengthen your self-control. Every time you choose not to explain, you reinforce your self-trust. Every time you choose peace, you elevate your vibration. That's how you train yourself to be unbothered, not through avoidance, but through alignment. Not by escaping life, but by mastering it from within. And as you continue to build this inner muscle, remember, nothing and no one deserves the power to disturb your peace. Not a comment, not a person, not a circumstance, because your peace is the foundation of everything you are building. Guard it, protect it, and let it become your greatest source of strength. And as that strength becomes part of you, something deeper begins to shift. You start to notice that your reactions aren't automatic anymore. The things that used to ignite frustration now barely move you. The opinions that once consumed your thoughts now pass by like a soft breeze. That's when you realize you've leveled up, not because life became easier, but because you became wiser. You've begun to see that control isn't about domination, it's about direction. You don't let emotions steer the wheel anymore. You hold it with steady hands, guiding your life with intention rather than impulse. And to train yourself to be unbothered means you've learned to separate what's happening around you from what's happening within you. The world can rage, but your mind remains steady. People can doubt you, yet your vision stays clear. Circumstances can shift, but your purpose stands unshaken. That's what real mastery feels like, when you no longer need calm conditions to be calm yourself. You become the calm, and you begin to operate from a place of quiet power. You start making decisions not out of emotion but out of alignment. You speak less but say more. You stop reacting to every spark because you understand that not every spark deserves a fire. You understand that peace isn't the absence of noise, it's the strength to rise above it. It's a mindset that says, no matter what happens out there, I choose peace in here. And every challenge becomes a mirror showing you how far you've come. The things that used to trigger you are now opportunities to prove your growth. You catch yourself in moments of potential frustration and you smile, because you recognize that life is just testing the new version of you. It's asking, are you really unbothered or are you pretending to be? And with every test you pass, your confidence grows, not the loud kind, but the quiet, grounded kind that says, I know who I am and nothing outside of me can shake that. And there will be moments where life tries to knock you off balance. People will still disappoint you. Situations will still frustrate you, but the difference now is in your response. Instead of collapsing, you compose yourself. Instead of lashing out, you look inward. You've built an internal home that no storm can destroy. That's emotional freedom. The ability to feel everything and still choose peace over panic, wisdom over reaction. And you begin to value silence over noise, patience over proving points, and clarity over chaos. You realize that some battles are not meant to be fought, they're meant to be outgrown. You stop needing to explain your decisions to those who haven't walked your path. You stop arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop fighting for peace in places where peace was never meant to live. You simply detach with grace because you understand that detachment is not rejection, it's redirection. And you learn to stop expecting emotional maturity from people who haven't earned it. You stop expecting loyalty from those who can't even be honest with themselves. You stop seeking understanding from those who only listen to respond. You stop wasting energy trying to change things that were only meant to teach you. Because that's what training yourself to be unbothered really is, learning the difference between what deserves your energy and what doesn't. And the more you master this mindset, the lighter you begin to feel. You stop carrying other people's baggage as if it were your responsibility to fix them. You stop internalizing criticism that was never about you in the first place. You start to see that everyone is fighting their own inner battle, and their reactions often have nothing to do with you. When you see that truth clearly, you gain compassion without attachment. You can understand people without absorbing their chaos. And being unbothered doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means your emotions serve you instead of enslaving you. It means you can feel anger but not act on it destructively. You can feel sadness without drowning in it. You can experience disappointment and still move forward, because maturity is not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. You no longer let feelings drive your choices, you let principles guide your path, and you begin to realize that the real battle has always been within you. It's not between you and the world, it's between your higher self and your impulsive self. Every moment you choose peace, you strengthen your higher self. Every time you refuse to react, you train your mind to stay aligned. Every time you walk away instead of engaging, you remind yourself that your energy is too valuable to waste. And when you live this way, your life begins to elevate. You start attracting people who match your calm, who respect your boundaries, who bring peace instead of chaos. You start recognizing opportunities more clearly because your mind is no longer clouded by distractions. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because peace is magnetic. Stability is attractive. People crave the calm that you've built within yourself. And you start to see that emotional control is the foundation for growth in every area of your life. Your career, your relationships, your purpose. Because when you're unbothered, you can think clearly under pressure. You can communicate effectively without aggression. You can make decisions without desperation. You become the one others look to when everything else feels uncertain. You become the anchor, and there will be times when you feel your patience tested, when you want to defend yourself, when you want to scream your truth to those who twist it. But remember, time reveals truth. Silence often says more than shouting ever could. Your peace is louder than any argument. Let your actions speak for you. Let your results do the talking, because nothing disarms chaos like consistency. And you begin to replace reaction with reflection. Before responding, you pause. You ask yourself, will this matter a month from now, a year from now? Most of the time, the answer is no. That awareness allows you to step back and respond with wisdom instead of impulse. That's the mark of emotional mastery, the ability to pause between stimulus and response and choose clarity every single time. And as you grow in this discipline, you start understanding that peace is not passive, it's a superpower. It allows you to see opportunities where others see problems. It allows you to remain calm when others crumble. It gives you the clarity to lead, to build, to create. When you're unbothered, you operate from a higher frequency where distractions can't reach you. You become so focused on growth that negativity can't find a way in. And you start noticing that people who once drained you no longer affect you the same way. Conversations that once triggered you now roll off your back. Situations that once felt personal now seem small. That's not arrogance, that's evolution. It's not that you think you're above it, it's that you've learned what truly deserves your peace. You've learned that not every battle is worth fighting, not every opinion is worth hearing, and not every invitation to conflict deserves your RSVP. And there's a deep liberation in realizing you can observe something without reacting to it. You can watch the noise of the world, the criticism, the chaos, and still remain calm within yourself. Because the goal is not to escape the storm, it's to become the calm inside it. The goal is to move through life with such grounded certainty that nothing outside can shake what's built inside. And you begin to find beauty in your calm. You start seeing power in your silence. You start valuing peace over performance. You start realizing that true success isn't about how much noise you make. It's about how steady you remain when everything around you is uncertain. You understand that control is not about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself, and that mastery becomes your greatest protection. Because no matter what comes your way, criticism, rejection, failure, you've built an internal strength that no one can take. You've trained your mind to respond with grace, your heart to stay open, and your spirit to stay strong. You've built peace that doesn't depend on the world being calm. It depends on you choosing to be. And every day you stay consistent, every day you choose calm over chaos, you reinforce this new identity. You're no longer reactive, you're reflective. You're no longer triggered, you're trained. You've become the kind of person who can stand in the middle of conflict and still move with clarity, who can feel the emotion but still choose direction, who can hear the noise but still focus on purpose. And that's when life begins to unfold differently for you. Not because life changed, but because you did. You've evolved beyond reaction. You've built peace into your identity. You've become someone who doesn't chase calm but carries it everywhere you go. And when you carry that calm everywhere you go, you become unshakable in a world built on distractions. You move differently, you speak differently, you think differently, you no longer respond from fear. You respond from wisdom. You no longer chase validation, you radiate certainty. Because now you understand that being unbothered isn't just a mindset. It's an energy that reshapes your entire life. It transforms how people treat you, how opportunities come to you, and how peace follows you. And when you've trained yourself to be unbothered, your silence becomes your shield, and your discipline becomes your weapon. You stop explaining what doesn't need to be explained. You stop defending what doesn't need to be defended. You simply exist in your truth, and that truth becomes undeniable. You don't have to prove your worth, you embody it. You don't have to chase respect, you command it through your composure. That's what true confidence looks like, not noise, not arrogance, but stillness that speaks volumes. And the world will continue to throw chaos your way, but when you've built that inner calm, you start to see chaos differently. You don't see it as an obstacle, you see it as feedback. You understand that every test is an opportunity to practice your peace. Every challenge is a gym for your mind. Every trigger is a teacher, showing you where your work still lies. So instead of resisting the challenges, you embrace them. You say, "Thank you for this moment. It's helping me master myself." That's the shift from reacting to responding, from resisting to rising. And the truth is, most people are addicted to reaction. They need drama because it gives them a sense of importance. They need chaos because it distracts them from their inner emptiness. But when you start to outgrow that addiction, your peace becomes too expensive to trade for temporary satisfaction. You realize that peace isn't boring, it's beautiful. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's what allows you to build, to think, to create, to live intentionally. And you stop waiting for people to understand you. You stop waiting for the world to validate your choices. You start living from your own conviction, your own clarity, and the more you do that, the less you need external approval. You stop being easily swayed by trends, opinions, or criticism. You become grounded in who you are and where you're going. And when you know where you're going, distractions lose their power. American P-40s all had fallen before the Zero's guns. But every time you remain calm, you reinforce your strength. You remind yourself that peace is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. There will be moments where the old you wants to react, wants to argue, wants to prove a point, but then the new you whispers, "This isn't worth my energy." And just like that, you rise above it. That's evolution in real time, and being unbothered doesn't mean you're numb. It means you've learned to channel emotion into power. You've learned to feel deeply but act wisely. You've learned that anger, frustration, and disappointment can either destroy you or develop you. It's your choice. You decide whether the fire burns you or forges you. Every emotion is raw energy. It's what you do with it that defines your growth. And you begin to see that peace isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. It's in the small decisions, the choice to walk away instead of engage, to pause instead of react, to listen instead of shout. Those small choices compound. They build a foundation of emotional mastery so strong that nothing external can shake it. The storms still come, but they no longer define your day. You've learned to stand in the rain and still smile because you trust your strength. And once you learn that, your focus shifts. You stop being consumed by things that don't move you forward. You stop arguing about opinions that don't affect your destiny. You stop chasing closure from people who can't give it. You realize that not everything broken needs fixing. Some things need to be released. Some doors are meant to close. Some people are meant to stay behind, and that's not loss, it's alignment. It's life rearranging itself for your peace. And you begin to move through the world lighter, freer, more focused. The small things no longer shake you because your perspective has expanded. You start to see that life's not about avoiding pain. It's about growing through it. It's about building a mindset so solid that no matter what comes your way, you stay grounded in your truth. You become someone who doesn't need to react because your stability is internal, not circumstantial. And this mindset changes everything: your relationships, your decisions, your success. Because now you respond to challenges with strategy, not emotion. You approach disagreements with understanding, not ego. You handle setbacks with patience, not panic. And people start to notice that energy. They feel the difference when you walk into a room calm, focused, and unshaken. You don't even have to say a word, your presence says it all. And you understand that not everything requires your attention. You become selective, intentional. You give your time only to what aligns with your purpose. You protect your peace like it's gold because it is. You stop chasing things that don't nourish your soul. You stop explaining your silence to those who thrive on noise. You simply keep building, keep growing, keep rising, and the higher you rise, the more you'll be tested. The universe will check if your peace is real or rehearsed. It'll send people to provoke you, situations to frustrate you, and moments that make you question your growth. But this is the point. To make sure your calm isn't just surface level, to make sure it's anchored deep. And every time you pass that test, your peace becomes stronger, your energy more refined, your focus sharper. And you'll start to notice that the things that once took all your energy now barely take a breath. That's the reward of emotional discipline. You've trained yourself to stop being reactive, to stop taking things personally, to stop letting small minds pull you into small fights. You've become too grounded to be shaken, too focused to be distracted, too peaceful to be provoked. And there's a moment in your journey where you stop being accessible to negativity. You start living in a different emotional frequency, one where peace is normal and chaos feels foreign. You start to crave quiet, crave clarity, crave presence. You become addicted to progress, to calm, to purpose. You start realizing that the most powerful thing you can ever do is not react, not because you're weak, but because you're wise. Because you know your peace is more valuable than being right. And with that understanding, you begin to forgive more easily, not for others, but for yourself. You stop holding on to resentment because you know it disturbs your peace. You stop replaying the past because you know it steals your presence. You stop fearing the future because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes. You've built a new foundation, a mindset rooted in trust, patience, and inner strength. And you start to understand that true freedom is emotional independence. It's the ability to wake up happy, not because everything is perfect, but because you choose to be. It's the ability to face conflict without losing composure. It's the ability to be surrounded by noise and still hear your own intuition clearly. That's the freedom that comes from being unbothered. You're no longer a prisoner of circumstances, you're the architect of your inner world. And every day you reinforce that freedom by how you respond. You choose stillness over stress, maturity over reaction, purpose over pride. And as you do, life begins to bend in your favor, because the universe always favors those who are in alignment, those who move with intention, those who stay grounded in peace. You attract what you are, and when you are unbothered, you attract situations and people that reflect that same calm energy. And once you live that way, everything changes. You start flowing instead of forcing. You start trusting instead of controlling. You stop fighting what's meant to teach you. You start realizing that life isn't happening to you. It's responding to you. The calmer you become, the clearer life gets. The more unbothered you are, the stronger your direction becomes. Because peace sharpens vision, and vision creates purpose. And that's where your true power lives, not in how much you can control the world, but in how little the world can control you. You've trained yourself to be unbothered, not by running from emotion, but by mastering it. You've learned that your peace is not fragile, it's your foundation. And once you've built that foundation, there's nothing and no one that can shake the ground you stand on.